Limbo is a minimalist puzzle platformer developed by indie studio Playdead. The game received praise from critics and consumers alike after its release in 2010. Its audiovisual presentation is noted by many critics as Limbo's greatest strength. The monochrome film noir style, the eerily beautiful environments that scroll by, accompanied by a somber musical score that evokes a plethora of emotion. It is for these reasons that I think Limbo is an example of video games as a form of art. The premise of Limbo is simple, yet it leaves room for many questions. You start the game as a young boy, a dark silhouette with bright, shining eyes, who wakes up in a forest with no notion of how or why. The only hint of the story in Limbo is revealed in the game's very short description, which reads as the following. Uncertain of his sister's fate, a boy enters Limbo. It quickly becomes apparent that the boy is unwelcome in this hostile environment, as the grim world he finds himself in is constantly trying to kill him, either by the cruel traps spread about the game or the various inhabitants of this world that are relentlessly hunting the boy. This is truly a trial and error game, or, more accurately, a game by trial and death. The devious puzzles in Limbo will most likely claim the life of the player many, many times. What truly makes this game memorable is Limbo's aesthetics. The dark, gloomy backgrounds of forests, caves and factories, all in shades of black and white. The visuals alone create a sense of loneliness and even despair. But what really makes this game shine is the audio, and how it relates and blends together with the visuals and gameplay mechanics to create a truly memorable experience. The music and use of audio hooks in Limbo is very cleverly designed, and as the music is used rather sparsely, the impact is much greater. The music also ties in with the actions the player makes underway, such as when you pull a lever, solve a puzzle, or during major events in the game. It is a solemn, melancholic, almost otherworldly score that further adds to the mood and atmosphere of Limbo. There is, interestingly enough, barely any music in the first hour of the game. The player is instead accompanied only by ambient sounds. The rustling of leaves, the buzzing of flies. The forest feels truly alive. That is, until you first encounter the spider. The spider is perhaps the most memorable part of the game. And what makes this encounter so memorable is in large part thanks to the audio. The moment the spider unfurls its giant menacing legs, the entire forest falls silent. And as you approach the spider, the only thing you can hear is the sinister humming of the spider's heart. In following encounters with the spider, this humming is often heard before you can even see the spider itself. The player thus becomes almost conditioned to fear this sound. An example of clever sound design. One of the most harrowing experiences in the game is when the spider's chase reaches its finale. After having lost nearly every leg while hunting the boy, the player is finally confronted with the helpless body of this previously fearsome creature. And after tearing off the last leg, the player pushes the spider's humming, pulsating body into a spiky pit. Afterwards, the silence becomes almost deafening. There are other clever uses of sound effects later on in Limbo as well. Take for example the first time the player encounters a buzzsaw. The boy steps on a button and the roaring of machinery comes to life. It is not only a mechanical sound, it has tonality as well, reminiscent of the screeching musical compositions horror movies are known for. My favorite example of audio design in Limbo happens in the later parts of the game. Here, the player is confronted with a gravity puzzle. As you push the button, a countdown begins, accompanied by the sound of a bouncy ball being dropped. This sound effect is beautifully incorporated into the music and is also an auditive cue as to how the player must solve the puzzle. Limbo is more than just a beautiful game. It is an audio-visual, brain-teasing experience that I hope you will enjoy for yourself.